Good morning, my friends, to another exciting day in Empires and Puzzles. We are here with a brand new portal once more, and it is going to be for the Alliance Quest. Yes, the Alliance Quest is back for Brave and Beautiful, and with it comes a brand new portal with two new options for us. We have Laurent here and Porthos. We will go over both, but as always, I do separate videos for each character, so if you're looking for the Porthos video, that'll be separate. This one, we will start with brand new guy, Laurent. So, let's take a look at what this guy has to offer. First of all, he is going to be of the Paladin class, which will give him extra armor, making him more tanky, which is kind of fun. A reminder of what we get with the Beauty and the Beast family bonus. Different heroes have different humility requirements, but basically humility is part of this entire system for these heroes. When the hero casts a strong version of their special skill, only the required amount of humility is consumed. Maximum humility is 100. So these characters will be building up humility to activate their special skill. There's a bonus for 1, 2, or 3 unique heroes of this family. The heroes gain 15, 17, 20 humility when receiving damage from special skills, and they will gain 20, 22, or 25% humility when receiving direct healing from special skills. So that's some pretty cool stuff. Basically, in order for these characters to gain humility, they have to interact with special skills in some way. They either need to take damage from your opposing player's special skills, or they need to get direct healed from your own special skills. Both will increase their humility, and they will gain more humility based off the number of these heroes that you have in your party. So, interesting stuff. Now, down here, we also get the Revival Health Reduction passive. All enemies have negative 80% health when revived. Boss enemies are not affected. So, this is probably the most effective way to handle Resurrect, and certainly the most effective way to handle the Wildcats of recent, because although you cannot stop them from resurrecting, reducing their health by 80% makes them very killable again, and most likely just the best way to handle those crazy little kitties. And then over here we also have Heal when status ailment expires or is cleared. This character receives 15% health each time a status ailment expires or is cleansed, removed, or reallocated from them. Pretty cool ability. 15% healing is a lot to happen just passively when things get removed or cleansed or just finish. So pretty cool stuff. And last but not least, we have the Beauty Inside. Whenever this character would take damage from a status ailment, they recover that much health instead. Now, this is, in my opinion, what makes these characters kind of overpowered. Any kind of status ailment that's on them is going to change from damage over time to basically heal over time. And some status ailments out there are getting pretty potent, doing 800 plus damage a turn. Well, instead this character is going to turn that 800 plus damage a turn into 800 healing a turn, and it makes them just very survivable. So I think it's a super powerful passive, and definitely one I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. Okay, over here in the Aether Power department we get Taunt. Oh goodness. Okay, so that makes me feel like this guy has to be a tank then, right? Anyway, he will automatically get Taunt at the beginning of the battle for the first 3 turns. This will protect the rest of your team from spells and effects that can happen very early, but 3 turns is not an incredibly long time. I can only imagine this guy taunts in his special though, so let's take a look. Alright, operating down here at average speed, we get Unyielding Stance. If the character has 50 or more humility, it deals 600% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. The attack bypasses defensive buffs. The caster gets Taunt that prevents enemies from using special skills on the caster's allies for 4 turns. The caster activates Stoneskin and drops all dealt damage to the caster to 1, but is removed after 5 hits. This effect can't be dispelled. Wow, okay. Otherwise, assuming you do not have humility at 50, he's going to deal 460% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. The caster gains Taunt and prevents enemies from using special skills for 4 turns. The caster activates Stoneskin that drops all damage dealt to the caster to 1, but is removed after 4 hits. This effect can't be dispelled. Okay, so clearly this guy is the Taunter that we were talking about. Taunt is a very interesting ability. It can be powerful, but it has to be activated and used and utilized correctly, all of that fun stuff. Let's talk about what this guy does well. Let's talk about if he's going to be a good hero for this taunting role, etc. Okay, so start things off. First of all, he is Paladin class, so getting the additional armor boost will be a good thing for him as a tank. This guy is going to receive a ton of additional healing from the Beauty Within that he has. So basically, if they're hitting him with spells and effects, and as a taunter, if he has Taunt up, he's making sure he gets hit with those spells and effects. And then he's also going to be healing as well. Oh gosh, yeah, okay. The Beauty Within combined with Taunt is a really, really, really powerful combination that's going to make this guy quite annoying to deal with. I will say this, if you're going up against this guy, if you're not the one lucky enough to pull him and you have to face him, you have to Dispel, okay? I know what you're thinking, oh, I can burn through him, that's fine. Yeah, it's possible, but with the amount of additional healing that this guy does, it's going to be hard to burn him down as quickly as other taunters. He also is going to gain Stoneskin in the special, very specifically, that is going to reduce the damage he takes from the first either 4 to 5 hits down to 1 damage. So, like, if your plan is to just burn him down, he is very well designed to prevent that. It's going to be a very unpleasant process to just forcibly push your way through this guy. I think the better bet is to make sure you have Dispel ready and just deal with this guy when it becomes convenient. Take out some of their key pieces to their party first, and then deal with this Taunter, because he's going to be very good at protecting his crew, and yeah, just be warned about that. So the other thing worth noting is that his stats are designed pretty well defensively here. Remember, this is the attack path, so all the talent points here are put into attack, and he still has 1788 defense. So if you were to flip the script and put the talent points into defense, this guy's going to be closer to like 1950 defense. He's going to have an absolutely monstrous defensive stat. He might even get to 2000, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a lot of defense to stack on top of the healing he'll receive and everything else. Yeah, this guy's just really going to be irritating to try to burn through, so just keep that in mind. He does do a pretty solid whack, too. If he's got the right level of humility, which, as a taunter, he's going to be redirecting special skills specifically to him, and each time he's going to gain humility from being affected by those special skills. So I think it's pretty likely that he'll be at that 50 humility point that he needs to be at, and that will allow him to do that 600% damage hit to one target. Now, I am going to assume that this guy's attack stat will be lower, mostly just because I don't think it's realistic that people are going to want to stack a lot of attack on this guy. Maybe they will. Like, maybe there'll be that niche player who's like, I want him for damage and taunting. But I think a lot of people are just going to stack this guy defensively. So that 600% hit sounds scary, but likely with a lower attack stat, it will still be a solid whack to one, but maybe not quite as scary as 600% sounds normally. So just understand he does do a reasonable amount of damage, but his real key is just survivability, and he will do that in spades. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Pretty cool guy. Let's see. If we had to rate him scale of 1 to 10, I'd say he's a clear 8. I don't know if I'm ready to put him at a 9 yet, but he might be. The reason I say he might be a 9 is if he just functions as intended. Like, if you don't have Dispel, I think this guy is going to absolutely wreck your hit, whether it be raid or war or whatever the case may be. I think it's just going to take way too much time, energy, and effort to burn through him, and in that time the rest of the team will probably dismantle you. That's what I'm saying. In actuality, when we see this guy play out, maybe he'll be better, but I'm guessing an 8 because I think the counter is just a Dispel, and since it's just a Dispel to get rid of his taunt, I don't think that's going to make it to a 9, if that makes sense. So anyway, look, Grass, if you pull him, he's a fantastic taunter. If you don't have a taunter in your team, you're going to be extremely satisfied with this guy filling that role for you. So, yeah, that being said, thanks for joining in, everyone. If you like what I do, there's a little button at the bottom right. You can click that, find me easier in the future. I've got one more video to do for our other little porky friend, I'm going to call him. So we'll get to Porthos next. Just keep your eye out for that, and we'll see you next time.